Hi guys, thanks for tuning into today's session. Before we talk about the addition of futures and options filter in the small case screener, we would like to thank all the screener users for the amazing support and the constructive feedback. We are constantly working towards ensuring that you get the best stock screening experience. Now, since our launch, a lot of users have requested to introduce futures and options filters. It's very rare that you find such filters along with the stock level technical and fundamental filters on the same platform. Thus we are very excited and happy to introduce futures and options filter in the small case screener. Now, in order to access a small case screener, you will have to come to this page, that is screener.smallcase.com. Now, click on Login with Kite and just provide your Kite credentials. Just give your 2FA answers, and you will land on the screener page. Now, there are many screener related videos which are available on our YouTube channel, using which you can learn about the basics and advanced level of different filters which are available on the screener. We won't be getting into the details of all these videos and the understanding of a screener in this video, and we would directly start with the futures and options filters. Now, in order to access these filters, you will have to click on the Add Filter button on the left bottom side of the screener. Now, as soon as you click on this button, you will see the Add Filters window where you have different categories of filters available. Now, there are categories like profitability, growth, valuations, and all the other fundamental and technical categories. Now, at the bottom of these categories, you will see the new categories that are futures and options. Now, in order to access all the filters related to the futures contract, you can click on the futures category. And similarly, in order to access option contract related filters, you can click on the options category. You can also directly search for a particular filter in the search box. I just type future and I would be able to see different filters which are related with the futures contract. Now let's understand the different types of filters that are available inside the futures and options categories. Now we have the basic filters like volumes, change in OI, and lot size, which are available. Let's say let's add few of these filters into the selection panel. Now, as soon as you click on a particular filter, you will see a tick mark against the filter, and the same filter. Let's say if I want to add the open interest for the futures contract, I can click on future open interest. Now, if I want to know what a particular filter is, I can just read the small definition available inside the Add Filters screen by hovering on the filter. For example, in this case, it reads current month future contract open interest from the day stock future contract was last traded. Now, these are basic futures and options filters, but sometimes they are very important. For example, if you want to find out future contracts where the open interest level is very high, you can directly get the list of the stocks by clicking high on the future open interest. And you will see that which stocks have the highest open interest right now in the market. You can see that the future open interest column is added on the right side of the results table. Similarly, you might want to see lots future contracts having high lot size, because lot size is directly proportional to the profit and loss that you make on every single tick. Like for a high lot size future contract, the profit that you will realize on every single tick in the market is also very high, but the loss is also proportional to the lot size. So sometimes there are a lot of investors who want to screen stocks first on the lot size and then analyze them. So this might be very useful for them. Now there are other basic filters also available like volume and basis, which you can access by going to the Add Filter and getting into the relevant categories. Now let's just refresh the screen. In order to do that, I can click on the Create a Screen, and again I will see that all the filters which I had added on the selection panel are now removed. Now, the second type of filters that you would see in the futures and options are the derived filters. These are basically changes in volumes and changes in open interest level since last 1 day or in last 1 week. For example, I want to find option contracts, or let's say I want to find out future contracts which have seen very high change in the open interest level in last 1 week. So I can just go to the futures category, click on 1 week change in future OI, and then click on high. Now, as soon as I do that, I see that ITC and Bharti Infratel are the stocks which have experienced highest open interest change in last 1 week. Now, this open interest change can be associated with a building long or like a long build-up for the stock or a short build-up for the stock, and we can differentiate between these two also by adding few price-related filters along with the open interest filters. We would be discussing more about it in just a bit. So there are different derived filters available in the futures and options category. Like you can also use 1 day change in volume or 1 week change in volume for getting the corresponding data. By using all these change in open interest and volumes, you can find out the stocks which are experiencing very high activity in the market. Now, we also have a lot of derived filters present inside the futures and options category. For example, there is a filter called fair value. Now, fair value filter gives you the fair value of a future contract calculated using the current risk-free interest rate, time to maturity, and dividends. I won't be getting into the formulas of how the fair value of a particular future contract is calculated. But if you want to understand in more detail that what is the future value, how it can be interpreted, you can just go at the bottom and click on read more about all futures filter. As soon as you click on that, it will redirect you to our learning portal where you will be able to read all the different filters associated with futures and options. Here you can see that we have defined fair value, then we have talked about how open interest level can be interpreted. Basically, all the filters that you see inside the screener, you will be able to find their detailed explanation. If you want to access the explanation of filters related to the options contract, you can click on options here, and now you will be able to see all the explanation related to the option filters. Now going back to the screener, so I was saying that there are a lot of derived filters which are available. For example, there is fair value filter which is available. Then there is fair value spread which is also available. Now using fair value, let's say I just click on the slider. So by just clicking on the slider, I'm not actually screening on the basis of fair value, but I'm just adding the data for the fair value for different stocks for which future contracts are available. Now, by comparing the close price with the fair value, I'll be able to judge whether a future contract is rich or cheap compared to the current closing price of the stock. Now, we will be talking about all these things in more detail when we go into the discussion related to the FNO screens. Now, other set of filters which are available in the futures and options are the rollover filters. Now, let's say I again clear all the filters that I added. I go to the add filters, I go to futures, and I can see different rollover filters like percentage, like rollover cost or percentage rollover. Let me just add these filters. Now, like what is a rollover? For example, you are having some position in the current month future contract of ITC, and let's say the contract is about to expire in 2 days, as all the future and option contracts for the current month gets expired on the last Thursday of the month, but you still want to hold on to your position for the next month because your view about the stock is not changed. Then you will have to roll your positions. Now what do I mean by roll is that you will have to sell the future position of the current month contract and buy the same number of future positions for the next month contract. That is, if you are having position in the July contract, you will sell this position and you will buy the corresponding number of lots or the contracts for the next month, that is August. Now this is called the rolling over of the future contract. Now there is a lot of analysis that can be done around the maturity of the future contracts using these rollover filters. For example, rollover cost will give you an idea about what will be the cost associated with the roll. So generally it happens that the next month future contract, let's say in the same example which we were talking about, you have 1000 you have 1000 contracts of ITC future which is getting expired in July, and you want to roll this position, so you'll have to sell the 1000 contracts of July and buy the 1000 contracts of August. Now generally the future, in case of futures, the next month contracts or the contracts getting expired in future are traded at a higher price. So when you sell the current month position, which is at a lower price compared to the next month position, which is at a higher price, you will incur a loss because you're selling the position at a lower price and buying the next month position at a higher price. Now, this difference is basically called the rollover cost that you would be gaining when you roll your position. Now, by using this rollover cost filter at around maturity, you will be able to understand that which future contracts currently have a high rollover cost compared to the other contracts available in the market. Now, similarly, for percentage rollover, a lot of times traders and investors wants to know which are the stocks experiencing high rollover around the maturity of the contracts. Uh, let's say a lot of contracts in the ITC is getting rolled over to the next month. It means that whatever was the view of the investors and the traders, basically the market view is not actually changed if the same level of rollover is happening. But if there is a very high rollover that is happening around the maturity, it means that there is some change in the view. Now, what is this change in the view, whether they are becoming bullish or bearish? We can find out all the details by looking at the percentage rollover along with the changes in the price level of the stocks. So there are different rollover filters which are available for options and futures, which can be used for rollover analysis around the maturity. Now let's just clear these filters again. Now, we have talked about the basic filters, which are like lot size, current open interest levels, or the current volume. Then we talked about some calculated filters where we are trying to find out stocks or the future contracts which are experiencing high change in OI or high change in volume. I told that this can be coupled with changes in price to find out the bullish or the bearish momentum getting built into the stock. Then we talked about some derived filters like fair value and fair value spread, using which we can find out whether the current future contract is rich or cheap compared to the close price of the stock. And we talked about the rollover filters, which can be used near the maturity to do a lot of related analysis. Now, we also have some arbitrage filters along with all these filters. For example, if you go to add filters and you go to futures, you'll be able to see a cash and carry profit. Now, this cash and carry profit, along with fair value spread filter, can be used to identify opportunities or the future contracts which are very ripe for placing a cash and carry arbitrage trade. Now, uh, I'll try to quickly explain what is meant by the cash and carry arbitrage. Generally, we compare the fair value of the future contract with the current traded value of the future contract. If the current traded value is more than the fair value, it means that the future contract is trading at a premium. And by opening a short position in the future contract and a long position in the corresponding stock, you will be able to execute a cash and carry arbitrage. Now, in order to understand the cash and carry arbitrage in more detail, you can check out our blog. The blog is available on the Making a Small Talk Medium channel. Here we have explained the cash and carry arbitrage in full detail using the current market examples. Now, coming back to the screener, let's say I add these two filters. So I'll be able to see the cash and carry profit that I can realize by placing an arbitrage trade on each and every single future contract. Let's say I arrange them in the descending order. So I can see that the highest cash and carry arbitrage profit can be made on the Bajaj Auto right now. Now, similarly, I can find out the arbitrage profit that can be realized by putting in cash and carry trade on each and every single contract by looking at this column. Now, while calculating this column, we have used 3-month MIBOR to calculate the fair value and the corresponding fair value spread. And generally, these profit levels are associated with the funding cost of the investors or the traders. But this column will give you a very like it'll help you identify the stocks which are most ripe for placing a cash and carry arbitrage trade. So like every morning before the market open, you can look at this particular column to see that which stocks are best for placing a cash and carry arbitrage today in the market. Now again, clearing all the filters that we added. Along with these filters, we also have filters like highest call OI strike, highest put OI strike. Now, basically, adding these filters will enable you see the strike price for an option contract which has the highest open interest. For example, in case of Reliance Industry, I see that 1440 is the strike price at which there is highest open interest for the call option. Similarly, I can see that 1400 is the highest strike has is the strike price which has the highest open interest for all the put option contracts. Now these are very important fields for any futures and options trader. Now generally institutions are the ones who are writing these contracts. By writing I mean is taking the short position, and the other position is generally taken by the retail investors and other guys. So for example, let's look at Tata Consultancy. In case of Tata Consultancy, 2,400 is the strike price which has the highest call option open interest. It means that all the institutions have written call options around 2,400 strike. What does this mean is that they feel that the price of Tata Consultancy Services will not go beyond 2,400. That's why they are willing to take the short position on the call options at a strike price of 2,400. Similarly, the strike price of 2,300 represents the level at which there is highest open interest on the put options. This means that institutions are writing put options at 2,300 strike price. It represents a view that they feel that the price of the stock will not go below 2,300. So it helps you in quickly judging the range, or probably the upside or the upside and the downside for a particular stock. For example, in case of Tata Consultancy, 2,400 to 2,300 represents the range in which the institutions feel the stock price will keep on fluctuating or will not cross these particular levels. So you can find out these strike levels for highest call OI and highest put OI for all the futures and for all the option contracts by using these filters. Similarly, you can also select filters like highest 1 week OI change for call options and highest 1 week OI change for put options. Now, adding these filters will give you the details of the strike price, which where there has been the highest change in open interest in last 1 week for the corresponding call and put options. So there are a lot of these filters which we have added in the screener, using which you can do a lot of analysis and build your investment strategies. Now, along with introducing all these filters, we have also introduced some screens which we have built using FNO filters. For example, let's just quickly look at few of these screens. For example, a future long buildup. Now, if I select this particular screen and hover over the name, I see the description of the screen. It says that stocks experiencing long buildup in future contracts. It is considered as a bullish indicator. So what is this screen doing is that basically it is selecting all the stocks which have experienced a positive change in the open interest in last 1 week, and at the same time have experienced a positive percentage price change in the spot of more than 3%. Now, if you want to find out the exact criteria, you can click on all screens, click on see all, and then go to the corresponding screen in the screen manager, and you will be able to see the summary of the screen. This summary will give you a detailed explanation of how the screen is built and how it can be used. In this example, this screen can be used to identify future contracts where there is a long build up happening, that is a positive change in the open interest in last 1 week, simultaneously with a positive change of more than 3% in the stock price for last 1 week. Similarly, you can load a future short build-up screen. This is a screen which will give you the list of contracts which have experienced a negative open interest change in last 1 week. Sorry, a positive open interest change in last 1 week corresponding with a negative price change. This means that open interest has increased for all these stocks in last 1 week, but at the same time, the price of the stock has gone down by more than 3%. This represents a bearish signal where uh, probably a short buildup is happening in this stock. You can also use a cash and carry candidates screen. If you load this screen, you will be able to see all the possible candidates where cash and carry arbitrage can be executed, as we just talked about. uh, we would be talking about the cash and carry arbitrage and how this screen can be used to put trades in the coming webinars. Now, given that we have introduced these futures and options filters in the screener, now screener becomes one of the very important tools for an investor or a futures and options trader, because it is one of the very few platforms where you can combine futures and options filters with the stock level technical and fundamental filters to build your screen. For example, if I upload a future long build up screen, I can simultaneously add some valuation filters, for example, PE ratio or PE premium versus sector, to ensure that I'm buying the stocks which are experiencing a long build up, but at the same time, which are not available at a very high valuation. I can do that by using the different ranges for a PE filter which are available here. For example, if I click on premium, I get the list of all the stocks which are currently trading at a premium compared to their sector PE but are experiencing long buildup. This is probably, I want to discard these set of stocks, so I click on discount. So I get a list of 34 stocks which are trading at a discount in PE terms compared to the sector but are experiencing a long buildup. I can further cut down the list of stocks by changing the filters from the sliders. So this was a very quick and short description of different sort of filters that we have added in this screener and how you can use them to identify investment opportunities. We'll keep coming up with new filters, new additions, and new screens, and also the webinars on how you can use all these things to identify best investment opportunities. So that's it for today. Thanks a lot for tuning in.